that live in the bush aren't gentrified out. I will make sure that the people that live here have a say in what's built and how that have a say in what kind of jobs are brought there. I think that's imperative. And I'd also like to see a hospital, a trauma center would be good. So I think we can work together to achieve that goal.
Yeah, to ensure that local residents, as the question asked, have an opportunity for employment, I think, again, you've got to get back to the community benefits agreement and an RDA, and to prepare the potential workers for those jobs. Not just education, which we're doing a good job at in terms of offering some state-of-the-art opportunities at our local colleges, like the Olive Harvey College, where transportation, distribution, and logistics is a major program. Like offering GED and ESL in the community, making sure that potential employees have skills that are available to meet the demands of the future, but also preparing, realistically, some of our folks who have challenges, drug and alcohol abuse, criminal records, and just the overall lack of training. So those are elements that you have to implement to ensure that local folks get the job, and having communication, like we have, with representatives from Lakeside, who now have a database of people who are interested in jobs or opportunities to serve as contractors or subcontractors in the process. I encourage all of you to take part in that. That ensures that when there is an opportunity, you will be the first one called.
Thank you, Alderman Pope. Hold your applause, please. Candidate Garza, you have 30 seconds for rebuttal.
Fine.
On education, we have heard about the skills gap at companies looking to hire. Lakeside will have an estimated 97,000 construction jobs, and it will be a high-tech development. Yet, our high schools have lost a number of related programs. CVCA has lost a number of vocational programs. Bowen has lost their drafting program. CVCA has a STEM program in a partnership with Motorola, although they're located in the suburbs, and it's difficult for students to get to summer jobs sometimes there. They get summer jobs and receive college credits. Cisco Systems, a Lakeside partner, has a STEM program with a high school on the north side, but not here. So the question is, how will you support STEM programs and vocational programs to ensure that the students in our community have the skills needed to get careers in our neighborhood, especially in light of the Lakeside development being one of the largest sources of jobs over the next 30 to 40 years? Alderman Pope?
Yes, I think we all realize that those kind of technical programs like STEM are essential to preparing our youth for the jobs that will be available for the future. That's why I'll continue to support those, and there's actually, at a local level, both Jane Addams and Washington High School, Washington Elementary, are pursuing STEM programs to ensure that our kids are ready for the future. With Lakeside in particular, yes, they have relationships with Cisco Systems and other groups like Skidmore Owen, one of the largest architectural firms in the world. Those people, those individuals, need to step up and ensure that they're part of the process so that they can share their skills and talents with local communities who they impact by developing that. Through the redevelopment agreement and the CBA, those kind of opportunities will be put in stone and ensure that people have the opportunity to participate in them.
Every school deserves a STEM and vocational program, not just a select few. CPS is District 299, and every school should be funded equally. And every student should have the same opportunity, not just in Lincoln Park, and not just on the North Shore, but in the 10th Ward as well. I will continue to fight for an elected school board so we can make these possibilities happen. We need to provide our students with the opportunity to excel regardless if it's a college or a trade school. Our students should have a choice, and they need access to resources to help them with college applications and access to the apprenticeship programs. We need a central location in our ward that will help youth find these resources. The budget cuts to our schools that you spoke of was voted yes by Rahm Emanuel and other people as well. I will not be a rubber stamp alderman that votes yes on everything that comes out.
you have 30 seconds.
Yes, we do need more programs and have implemented and will continue to implement more programs. For the CDL program at Olive Harvey, to, as I mentioned, the STEM programs that we're pursuing at Jane Addams and Washington, to the very successful International Baccalaureate program at Washington High School. And we have designated a site, to be mindful of the future of our community and the students' needs, a site on the Lakeside site for a high school already, knowing that a high school will be eventually needed on the site and that the site should provide that property for them. We should also continue to work with the Calumet Area Industrial Commission, who is a large provider of technical and industrial services to all of our employers in the neighborhood, and have worked with my office for job fairs and outreaches in the past.
We cannot wait for 20 years for a high school to come. We cannot wait 20 years for our kids to have a place to go. We have to stop corporations from profiting at our kids' expense, and we have to stop the expansion of charter schools. We can use TIF money to fund our schools and repair the buildings that are already in the TIF ward, not build roads to Walmart and Pullman.
Please hold your applause. It'll be a time.
May I respond? Thank you. I'm proud to say that we're currently building our third elementary school in the 10th Ward. In addition to New Sullivan, Marsh, now we have a new school on the southeast side, all of which are neighborhood community schools. And when we talk about money, we're going to be investing another $4.4 million in 2 elementary schools in the ward to improve them, to make sure that they're physically fit, so our kids can get the best education possible. I think my opponent is misspeaking when she talks about money going to another place. It was going towards economic development.
Thank you, Alderman.
I think you're lying.
If you can please hold your applause and your comments so that the candidates can speak and tell us what they're planning to do if they were elected or re-elected. Please. We have a question regarding workers' compensation. The National Council on Compensation Insurance recommended a 20% rate reduction for Illinois insurance premiums due to several workers' compensation reforms that were passed in 2011. However, insurance companies have not reduced their premiums and have profited millions of dollars. Meanwhile, in Springfield, there are several proposed legislative bills to reduce the benefits of workers' compensation. One example is a proposal on causation standards, where an injury at work must be the majority cause of a worker's medical condition, as opposed to just a factor. This means for older workers especially, those who do manual labor and are prone to back injury, or anyone with even a minor pre-existing condition, it will be virtually impossible to receive workers' compensation. The question is, will you join the groups for uniting our voice as constituents to discuss protections for workers' compensation and workers' quality of life with our state elected officials before the end of the legislative session in May? Alderman Pope?
Most definitely, not before the end of May, but tomorrow. I understand that when people are working, they're struggling to make dollars. When they're not working, it's even that much more difficult. So being able to collect workers' comp is essential, and not the bare bones, but as much as possible. I'm proud to have supported legislation on the city council level to provide people opportunity to make a decent wage, raising the minimum wage, so that 400,000 people in Chicago, including many of us here, can come out of poverty. And more recently, we passed some other laws, paying people for sick time. If you get hurt on the job or paid sick leave, you get paid for your sick leave. It's something that we have to provide for people when they're not working so they can support their family. People are not making huge dollars here. They have kids. They need to have substantial income so they can provide for their families and contribute to our economy.
I have a history of standing up for the working class and making sure that they get the benefits that they deserve and that they need to have a productive life. You talk about raising the minimum wage. We need $15 an hour now, not $13 an hour in 5 years. We have people that live in our ward that work 3 jobs to try to make ends meet and still have no health insurance and no sick days. That's a trickle-down effect because that affects the family unit, and children are raising themselves while parents are out trying to make a living. We need to make sure, and we need to work together to ensure that we get what's deserved of us, not just the 1%.
If you can please discuss specifically about workers' compensation.
Yes, as it is a state legislative issue, it's incumbent upon elected officials, whether you be at the state level or the local level like an alderman, to work with your colleagues at the legislature to let them know what you want, what your residents want. That's why it works successfully with our state reps and state senators in passing various legislation, including the environment. I called up Congressman Kelly just yesterday to talk about an issue. So although I don't take the vote, it's incumbent upon me to represent the 10th Ward to let those people in Springfield, our senators and our state representatives, to know that we want this passed.
Yes, it is true. It is a state vote. It's not a vote that we would be taking in city council, but it's very important that we can educate people on what their rights are as citizens and as workers, to make sure that they know that they can get workman's compensation, and we can educate them on, if they do get hurt, on where they can go to get those benefits. That's very important. One of the things that happens is a lot of people, especially immigrants, don't know what their rights are. So as your alderman, I would hold workshops to educate people on what their rights are in the workplace and make sure that working class families get what they deserve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Pope and Candidate Garza. These are issues of concern to all of us, and we appreciate you. We appreciate your responses. Now we will have some questions from the audience. Just a reminder and the guidelines for the questions. Respect everyone present. Questions will be read for both candidates to answer. We will only read the questions that are not repetitive and nonpartisan. We will not read any questions that have personal attacks associated with it. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to each question. We plan to end the meeting at 7:15, so we'll take as many questions as possible. Here is the first question from the audience.
What are you going to do to attract businesses to the east side? Because we have to be the only major neighborhood with no Chase Bank or even a Dunkin' Donuts. Ms. Garza.
I think it's very important that we attract jobs here. There's a lot of programs that we can use. TIF funds can be used to attract jobs to our neighborhood. If you look at Ewing Avenue, it's not what it used to be. $8.5 million was taken out of the Ewing Avenue TIF and given to Walmart to build a road in Pullman that's not even in our ward. That money could be used to entice small business and give them incentives to stay here and to hire people from within our ward. So not only would we be increasing our business district, but we can have a community benefits agreement with those employers too to hire people from within our ward.
We've had success throughout the ward, South Chicago, East Side, Hegwith, South Dairy, Jeffrey Manor, bringing businesses in, but never enough. Here in the South Chicago community, we're helpful in bringing Royal Bank, having a brand new facility built there. And speaking of banks, former LaSalle Bank was built right on Commercial Avenue to serve our community. But we do have to use the tools, the incentives that we have available, from TIF to the enterprise zone to 6Bs and 7Bs. Those are tax incentives that attract people, attract businesses. It's very competitive out there, and you've got to have a set of tools and be able to market the neighborhood